Hello students, how are you all doing? I welcome you to today's session. Well students, let's do a quick recap. In your previous session, we did a poem that is Lake Isles of Innisfree. That was poem number 4 in your Beehive book. Today I am going to be taking up your next chapter in Moments. As you can see, it's chapter number 4 and the name of the chapter is In the Kingdom of Fools. As the title goes, students, it is a story about a kingdom where foolish people lived, and it's a very enjoyable and a funny chapter, and I hope that you are going to enjoy with me too. So yes, grab your Moments book and open up on page 19, and let's begin with the chapter. So yes, it is believed, the introduction, it is believed that fools are so dangerous that only very wise people can manage them. Who are the fools in the story? What happens to them? So let's find out, students. Now, in the kingdom of fools, both the king and the minister were idiots. So it's clearly given, okay, in the first sentence. They didn't want to run things like other kings. So they decided to change night into day and day into night. They ordered that everyone should be awake at night till their fields. यहाँ पे till their fields का मतलब है plow their fields, and run their businesses only after dark, and go to bed as soon as the sun came up. Anyone who disobeyed would be punished with death. The people who did as they were told for fear of death. The king and the minister were delighted at the success of their project. One day, a guru and his disciple arrived in the city. It was a beautiful city. It was broad daylight, but there was no one about. Everyone was asleep. Not a mouse stirring. Not a mouse stirring. That means no, even a mouse could not be spotted out roaming out anywhere. Even the cattle had been taught to sleep by the day. The two strangers were amazed by what they saw around them and wandered around town till evening, when suddenly the whole town woke up and went about its nightly business. So what happens, students? There are two people who come to the town, to this kingdom. One was the guru and his disciple, and they were very surprised to see what was going on. It was broad daylight when they came, and they could not even spot out anyone, not even a mouse they could find on the street, and they were very surprised. But as the sun began to set in the evening, they saw the town coming to life, and the people started moving around here and there. Okay students, now before I proceed further, I would like to tell you that in today's session, I forgot to mention in the beginning, in today's session we again have two videos, and both the videos are of the same chapter, In the Kingdom of Fools. As the chapter is too lengthy, so I'm going to be dividing the chapter into two videos. Okay, so let's begin with the second paragraph, and we are on the same page, page 19. The two men were hungry. Now that the shops were open, they went to buy some groceries. To their astonishment का मतलब यहाँ पे होता है surprise, they found that everything cost the same, a single dudu. Now dudu here is the name that was given to the currency in that kingdom. Whether they bought a measure of rice or a bunch of bananas, it cost a dudu. The guru and disciple were delighted. They had never heard of anything like this. They could buy all the food they wanted for a rupee. When they had cooked and eaten, the guru realized that this was a kingdom of fools, and it wouldn't be a good idea for them to stay here. This is no place for us. Let's go, he said to his disciple. But the disciple didn't want to leave the place. Everything was cheap here. All he wanted was good, cheap food, the guru said. Yes students, now on the next page, page number 20. They are all fools. This won't last very long, and you can't tell what they'll do to you next. But the disciple wouldn't listen to the Guru's wisdom. He wanted to stay. The Guru finally gave up and said, "Do what you want. I am going," and left. The disciple stayed on, ate his fill every day, bananas and ghee and rice and wheat, and grew fat like a street side sacred bull. So यहाँ पे हमें पता चलता है that yes, disciple ने follow नहीं किया था गुरु की बात को, and गुरु उनको छोड़ के चले गए थे, and he had become so fat like a street side sacred bull. Sacred bull यहाँ पे इसलिए use किया गया है the term, that means he had become so fat. Okay, now next paragraph. On bright day, a thief broke into the merchant's house. He had made a hole in the wall and sneaked in. Sneaked in means go inside secretly. As he was carrying out his loot here means whatever he had stolen, the wall of the old house collapsed on his head and killed him on the spot. His brother ran to the king and complained, "Your Highness, when my brother was pursuing his ancient trade," pursuing का मतलब होता है to do, performing, ancient trade. Now here ancient trade is a very cheeky word, polished word used for stealing, okay, just to cover up, because he didn't want to tell the king कि वो कर क्या रहे थे actual में. A wall fell on him and killed him. This merchant is to blame. He should have built a good, strong wall. You must punish the wrongdoer and compensate the family for this injustice. The king said, "Justice will be done. Don't worry." At once summoned the owner of the house. Summoned here means called the owner of the house. Okay, so as you can see, this is the king. Now let's go over to the next page. So yes, students, now on page 21. When the merchant arrived, the king questioned him. "What's your name?" "Such and such, your highness." "Were you at home when the dead man burgled your house?" "Yes, my lord. He broke in and the wall was weak. It fell on him." The accused pleads guilty. "Your wall killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you." Now here, students, till now, so you can realize that the king is such a foolish person. He is not punishing he doesn't understand that जो वो इंसान वहाँ पे गया था चोरी करने के लिए कि वो एक क्राइम कर रहा था. यहाँ पे उल्टा हो रहा है. यहाँ पे मर्चेंट को गिल्टी ठहराया जा रहा है बिकॉज उसकी हाउस जो घर की दीवार है वो गिर गई थी, इसकी वजह से वो चोर मर गया. सो चोर को सज़ा नहीं मिल रही है, उस मर्चेंट को सज़ा मिल रही है. ओके, आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड. The accused pleads guilty. "Your wall killed this man's brother. You have murdered a man. We have to punish you." "Lord," said the helpless merchant, "I didn't put up the wall. It's really the fault of the man who built the wall. He didn't build it right. You should punish him." Now the merchant wants to escape, और merchant यहाँ पे कह रहा है कि मेरी गलती नहीं है. Maybe it is actually the mistake of the the person who built the wall. So he should be punished. You should punish him. "Who is that, my lord?" "This wall was built in my father's time. I know the man. He's an old man now. He lives nearby." The king sent out messengers to bring in the bricklayer who had built the wall. They brought him tied hand and foot. "You there, did you build this man's wall in his father's time?" "Yes, my lord, I did." "What kind of a wall is this that you built?" "It has fallen on the poor man and killed him. You have murdered him. We have to punish you by death." Now here the second blame goes on the person who built the wall, the bricklayer. Okay, so first person to blame was merchant. Merchant now blames the bricklayer. Follow the chapter very carefully, students. This loop you have to understand. There are many people going to come. There are many characters going to come in the story. You have to remember the characters. Okay. So the second character is the bricklayer. Before the king could order the execution means the punishment, to hang, the poor bricklayer pleaded, "Please listen to me before you give your orders. It's true I built this wall and it was no good. But that was because my mind was not on it. I remember very well a dancing girl who was going up and down that street all day with her anklets jingling, and I couldn't keep my eyes or mind on the wall I was building. You must get that dancing girl. I know where she lives." Okay, so now the blame is going on the third person. जो bricklayer है, जो दीवार बना रहा था, वो कहता है कि नहीं, मैं ध्यान से अपना काम कर नहीं पा रहा था because there was a dancing girl around and she was dancing on the street up and down and she was wearing anklets का मतलब होता है पायल. Okay, so she was wearing anklets and she was making noise. So she kept on walking on the street. That's why my mind got diverted and I could not build the wall properly. So now our third character is coming into the picture. You are right. The case deepens. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get that dancer, wherever she is. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. Okay, so now dancing girl is called and she was very old now. Okay, and she was very shaky. Did you walk up and down that street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? Yes, my lord, I remember it very well. So, you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. You were young and you distracted him. So he built a bad wall. Okay, so now the dancer is going to be blamed. Okay, students, let's go over to the page 22 now. Next page. Yes, it has fallen on the poor burglar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. You will have to be punished. She thought for a minute and said, "My lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel." Now, scoundrel here is, I would say, a foul word or a bad word used, okay, abusive word I can say. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. He made me walk up and down his house a dozen times. So again, see students, now the next character is coming to the picture, the fourth character. Okay, now the dancing girl is now blaming the goldsmith. Okay, so let's do a quick recap here. So who was the first person? The first person to be blamed was merchant. मर्चेंट ने किसको ब्लेम किया था? ब्रिकलेयर को. ब्रिकलेयर ने किसे ब्लेम किया था? डांसिंग गर्ल को. और अब डांसिंग गर्ल किसे ब्लेम कर रही है? गोल्ड स्मिथ को. ओके, सो दैट वाज व्हेन दिस ब्रिकलेयर सॉ मी. इट्स नॉट माई फॉल्ट, माई लॉर्ड. इट्स द डैम्ड गोल्ड स्मिथ्स फॉल्ट. पुअर थिंग, शी इज़ एब्सोल्युटली राइट, thought the king, weighing the case. We have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once. The king's bailiff. Now bailiff is the person who maintains the law and order, okay, in the olden times. The king's bailiff searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in the corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, accusation means the blame, okay, he had his own story to tell. My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It is true I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's orders. They had wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient rich men are. Okay, now the goldsmith is again blaming someone else. अब गोल्ड स्मिथ ब्लेम कर रहा है मर्चेंट को, किसी रिच मर्चेंट को ब्लेम कर रहा है दैट उन्होंने ऑर्डर दिया था ज्वेलरी के लिए, इसलिए उनकी ज्वेलरी बनानी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी थी. दैट्स वाई द डांसिंग गर्ल्स ज्वेलरी वॉज नॉट मेड ऑन टाइम. Who is this rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry? Made her walk up and down, which distracted the bricklayer, which made a mess of his wall, which has now fallen on the innocent man and killed him. Can you name him? Okay, students, so now so let's take a short break. Now join me on the video 2 so that we can complete the chapter.